Hello. Hello, Ivy. Hello, Raymond. You have a visitor.
Hey.
Paddy Toy here.
Hey.
Paddy Toy, the tree man. Your neighbour from Ballindrate, Raymond.
Hey.
It's your old neighbour from Ballindrate.
Just look at the window. From Paddy. From Canada.
Well, you're on camera now. Hello, Ivy.
Oh, I'm good, see.
Hello, Ivy.
How did you up the hill?
Where's that out yet? Hey?
Somebody here.
Great weather. Great weather. Hey?
I have to see.
I'm going up to check the trees.
Hey?
I'm going up to have a look at the trees.
You going up?
Aye.
Hello.
That's a real old farmyard there. A real old school one. Raymond's got plenty stocked up for the winter. We're going to follow a lovely wee lane up here now. Lovely day. Middle of May here. And I'm coming up here now to a place called Croaghan Hill. Now, Croaghan Hill is the biggest hill around this part of Donegal. It's on one side of it you've Lifford, the other side you've Ballindrate, and one side faces kind of Rafo, Convoy, and it looks down into Castlefin, looks down into Paddy across the border. But it's the biggest hill around here, around this area. But it's not a very big hill, altitude wise. It's more that the ground around here is very low down. If you look at the Northern Survey map, the road outside the Horseshoe Inn in Ballindrate is wood pigeon. The road outside Ballindrate Bar is 5 metres above sea level. Well, that's fairly low. I mean, there's places in the coast that are higher than that. So your hill doesn't need to be very high to be a high hill around here. And look at these beautiful flowers in the hedge here. Bluebells and whatever they're called. Primrose. I love wee lanes like this. But I planted trees. I'm going up here today because I planted trees up here in the summer of 2011, and I went away to England then for 5 years, and I came back, and I say half of them were still growing. And so every summer since, so I came back 2018, so every summer since then I come up here every year to check them, to see how they're getting on. And some of them are doing really well. That's where we're going, up there. Lovely wild hill. And where do you see the lovely views from up here? It's beautiful. Beautiful day. Lovely East Donegal. And you can even see Mount Errigal from this far east. That's it there, look. You know, but you weren't expecting to see Mount Errigal from East Donegal. You can see the bluebells, like just like a blue haze in the bottom of the hill. But I had to come up here at this time of the year because if I left it any later, the ferns and the bracken they would get so high that you can't actually walk up here. So you gotta come in here. May now, it's May. This is the only chance you'll get to walk up from this side. Otherwise it's just a pure jungle. We're just at the foot of the hill here now. And after coming up through those lovely big green fields full of silage. What will be silage. And look at this. Lovely bluebells everywhere. That's gorgeous. White thorn. Wait till I get over this fence. Wow. Very hard to walk up here. No, look at this boil. Look at her. Fine big chestnut. Taller than me. I put that stick in her there because she needs a bit of support. Getting a bit top heavy. And I made these wee cages here. I put these wee cages around them. See the wee wire cage? Because they were all started off in there. I put them wee cages around them to try and stop rabbits and hares from eating them. But this other one's doing far better. It's funny, I wasn't sure how well chestnut would do up here. A very dry hill. It's very stony as well. Let me tell you, I tried digging holes for them trees, it wasn't easy. But the chestnuts are thriving. Look at that one there. That doesn't need any stake, it's flying. That's doing a lot better than that other one. It's got a good thick solid trunk. Doesn't need any stakes in it to support it. And it's at least 10 feet tall. But that's a beauty there. Nice big chestnut tree. Now where do you see this for a view? This is my country here. Not nice. Anyway, we'll go higher up and we'll get an overview. I'll point everywhere. I'll tell you where everywhere is. We can go higher up. We'll be going higher up than this. More trees to find first. Coming up now to the first of our oak trees. Not too sure about this boy. I mean, he's alright, like he's growing, he's alive, but very spindly. Like. I had to put a wee stake in. Now I'll tell you why they're growing like this. The reason they're growing up so straight and so spindly is because, as I said before, if you come on here later in the year, the bracken is chest height and they had to come down. They were this height and the bracken is way up here, so they were trying to get up to the light, up past the bracken, and that's why they ended up like this. So like, if you come back here in 3 or 4 weeks, there'll be a sea of bracken about that height and that there will be poking above it. Now I had planned to come back every summer and keep the bracken away from them and cut a big hole and keep them safe, but as I said before, I was in England and it was kind of hard. So for the first 5 years they were kind of on their own, you know, and that's how they ended up like that. But anyway, some were okay and some aren't doing so okay, and some just didn't make it. But anyway, there's more to see. And here's one of the guys who didn't make it. That was an ash tree there. As you can see, it got to at least 6 feet, and then it gave up. I don't know what happened to it. I'm not an expert in trees, but this guy didn't make it. Poor buddy. Oh well. Coming up to another ash tree here. Yeah, seems to still be alive. Not easy. Not easy being a tree in this hole. It's still going. I don't know, it went way up here and then that's still alive. It's very late in coming on leaf. I don't know why. But that will come good. You can still see, it's alive, it's not dead. Like, and them wee buds, they'll all go into leaf, but it's definitely behind schedule. But I don't know. I've planted trees here and I just don't know where they are, because as you can see, I mean, I used to have a wee map to remind me, but that was a long time ago. But there's more, I planted more. I mean, there's trees here I planted that I just don't know where they are, I can't find them. But there's more up here. There's a lovely big sycamore tree up here. That's lovely. Oh, you can feel the cool shade right away out of that scalding sun. Lovely. You can actually hear the hum of the insects. That was always a common sign of summer when you were young. You would hear the insects buzzing. You never hear that anymore. You can hear it here though. Pat, shut up. Alright, we'll keep going. Aha! Now there's an oak tree that's doing alright. Yeah. That's a beauty. No problems with this one. Look at that. Ah, solid as a rock. Oh, I'm proud of this one now. She'll have no trouble. She'll be alright. And right beside that oak is a sycamore tree that I planted. It's in trouble. It's one of them gangly ones. Do you know? Oh, I did put a stake in it, I did. But no, it's tied down here. Might be alright, might be alright. Hopefully. That's a sycamore and that's a sycamore as well. And then my oak in between. But there's more. I saved the best one for last. See this hill? I'm going to point out a hill in the distance here. It's called Binion Hill, and it's from that hill I took the acorns to plant the oak trees on this hill. So I just want to show you where that is. Just that hill, just on slightly on the right hand side. Not a big hill, but that's where I got the oak trees to plant here. That's where I got the acorns. But I have another wee story about that, but I'll keep that till I get to the last tree. I'm just coming up to another chestnut tree. I actually only found this one recently. I needed a stake as well. It's a bit spindly, but it might be alright. Time will tell. Look at that. West Donegal gets all the praise for the mountains and all that, but Christ, is that not nice there? I think that's beautiful. I don't give a fuck what Borden Falchus is. Or doesn't say. Come on, one more. We're just coming up here now. You can see ahead of me where the heather kicks in. There's a border where the bracken and the brambles stop and the heather begins. So we're getting quite near the top. You see that bit of heather up there? It's one of the very few places you'll get actual heather around this part of the country. But this tree I'm about to show you is my favourite, because I only discovered it on my last trip. I had no idea it was here, and all the years since I planted these I never came up this far. And then it came up one time and I spotted it and I couldn't believe it, because it's an oak tree and it's flying. It's doing the best out of all of them, and I definitely know it's mine because it's got the wee wire cage around the bottom, as you can see. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think those wire cages appear naturally of their own accord. So I definitely planted that, and she is a beauty. Out of all the oaks, she's definitely doing the best. A sturdy big trunk, well above the bracken. That'll keep flying there now, so it will. That's going to be a lovely big oak tree. 300 years to grow, 300 years to live, and 300 years to die. It'll be there longer than I am anyway. Them leaves aren't really fully out yet. They're not as big as they're going to be, because this is fairly early. Oak are quite slow at putting out their leaves. They're quite late on. All the other trees put them out a lot sooner, but then oak hold on to them a wee bit longer than the other trees. But if I was to come back here in 3 weeks, this would look much bigger, because all these leaves would be, you know, twice the size. Like, they'd be bigger anyway, like, you know. They're still very, I mean, that's a fresh wee shoot there, but still, that tree's doing very well. It's doing really well. I'm so happy. It gives me such pleasure to see this thing that I put in a wee flower pot, I don't know, 14 years ago, to see it here now growing wild. And it's beautiful. Gives you a nice feeling inside. It'll be here when I'm not. Right, so where are these? See the gap in the mountains there? That's Barnesmore Gap. Then you have the blue stacks then, obviously. I think that one of them's there's Alton Paste. I think that's Gogging behind it. Not 100% sure. You can see the windmills up there, that's Carrick. Up above Drumkeen. You swing around there. I can't really see where my fingertip is on the screen. I'm doing my best. Muckish is there. Errigal is there. Errigal's the pyramid, you can't mistake Errigal. Then to the right of Errigal, there's another big lump. That's Agla Moor and Agla Beg. And okay, back in here into the foreground. That's the town in the distance is Rafo. Castle Finn's yonder that direction. This area down in here is called Tober, and that's the back road there to take you to Castle Finn from Ballindrate. Across the Deal, across that valley, the other side of that's Argery. We swing around this way now. We're coming into my territory. Ballindrate's over there, but the wee village is just tucked down behind. You can't see the village itself. Yonder out there is Port Hall, and if you go up to the top of the hill at night, you can see the lights at Derry. And but that was our playground there growing up. That was our playground. We used to run around there flat out with sticks and stones and cans and fucking running stone mad and fishing rods, and weren't we lucky? I think we were. You know, it doesn't matter where you go in your life, you'll never know a place as well as the place where you grew up, because you know where all the roads, you know all the fields and streams, and you know all the trees, you know everything, but you know the houses, you know the people who lived there, and you know all the wee local names for things, names that wouldn't be on maps, names that only local people would know, that are handed down. You'll never get to know that. You'll never know a place as well as the place you grew up. And that was our playground there. Weren't we lucky? And when I see children today glued to a fucking screen, glued to an iPhone or some old thing, it is heartbreaking. It really is. That they're missing all this. And they don't want to do anything. It's just, and you think, what's going to happen to them when they grow up? They're losing out. They really are losing out. It's terrible. The poor fucking things. I don't know. You should just lock them out. Just throw them out into the garden. Lock the doors, close the curtains, and just throw out a lock of bags of crisps and a stick and a fucking, I don't know, a lock of stones, sharp stones. Say, right, survive. See you in the morning. Where you go. See how they get on. They might like it. Now, I'm not saying I'm fucking parent of the month or anything, but you know, worth a try. I've never done me and my friends any harm. That's debatable. Errigal and Agla Beg. I remember when we used to come up here when we were kids on a clear day, and we would see Errigal out there in the distance. I couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that we could see a mountain that was so far away, because back then nobody had cars and you never travelled very far, and going to a place like West Donegal, like going out to Errigal or anything like that, it was like going to another country. It really was. It was just, and I just remember I couldn't believe that I could see this far off mythical mountain from a couple of miles above my house. I just remember I was just blown away by it. It was like staring across the sea at another fucking world or something. The world was a lot smaller back then, especially when you're young. Anyway. Right, I nearly forgot to tell you, there's a very, very important, piece of information that I need to tell you about these oak trees that I planted up here. Now, all these oak trees that I planted up here, every one of them was in not one pub, but 2 pubs before they were on this hill. Let me explain. Well, I used to live in Croaghan Hill, which is between, let's say it's just between Lifford and St Johnson, and I lived there for a while with a good friend of mine, and Maggie's Tavern was my local for that couple of years. I knew it well. Fucking great pub it is, still going strong. But I was in Bunyan Hill, as I said, gathering these acorns. And as I was going past Maggie's, I thought I'd call in for a wee pint on the way home. And I believe I had them all, pockets bulging with them. And I had them all out in the counter of the bar while I was drinking my pint. I remember getting a few funny looks and all, but people kind of knew by then, pay no heed. And so they were in that bar. I put them back in my trouser pockets, my combats. Later that night, where did I end up? On the Horseshoe Inn in Ballintrae? Well, what else were you going to do? So, and I clean forgot now, I didn't know I had them on me. Now, I didn't bring them out and start counting them out in the bar in Horseshoe Inn or anything. I was over the surprise, you know, I was accustomed to them by then. But they were in that bar as well. Another great pub. Huey, the boys, what's happening? But I must get down some night and not fall asleep. But so they were in 2 pubs before they were on this hill. So when you bring your grandchildren up here, future generations, you see them oak trees there? A boy called Highland Paddy planted them, and them oak trees were in 2 different bars before they were ever on this hill, and that is a fact. The man that we met at the start of the video, Raymond, he owns this side of the hill, and obviously I had to ask his permission to plant these trees up here. But I always wanted to kind of do something like that, you know, because I was always interested in nature and animals and stuff. But not having any land of my own, I thought, well, how the hell can I plant trees? Because I always knew trees were so important for nature, like. But I didn't have any land of my own, so I was like, well, how can I do something? And like back then, I'm talking 13, 14 years ago, you had adverts on TV telling you, know, turn off your light, you know, at night, you know, or to help save the planet and all this. And I was thinking, right, that's gonna fucking help. It's planting stuff. Environmentalism used to be about preserving wild places and making new wild places, not giving fucking massive subsidies to these fucking so-called green energy crap. But anyway, environmentalism used to be about planting trees and preserving wild places and making new wild places. And I'm not, you know, so I kind of felt so helpless. So then I knew Raymond owned this side of the hill, so I asked him for permission to plant trees up here. Of course, Raymond said that's no problem, so I started doing that up here. And then I went to London then, and then I came up with the idea in London. I used to go walking in the big parks and jogging at the weekends and in the evenings as well. And I would gather up the acorns there from the oak trees, and I planted them all in my garden where I was living in Isleworth in West London, just up the road from Brentford. And what I did was I planted all these oaks in these big flower pots, and I waited a couple of years till they were nice big green healthy saplings, really lovely, really strong. And what I did was I got a wee table and I put them out in the front of my house, and I put all these oak saplings on the table right next to the footpath, and I put a sign on the table. I said, oak saplings free to good home. And I went away to work, and I came back home from work on the first day. Half of them were gone. I went away to work the second day. I came back from work and they were all gone. Every one of them was gone. So there's oak trees growing in some London garden now that might not have been growing there, only I did some wee thing. And anyone can do that. Anybody can do that. Even if you live in a town or a city. Somebody who has a big garden might see that and go, oh, a free oak tree. Might lift it and plant it. And they might never have thought of that, only they just saw a free one and they just took it. So you could do that and where you live. And my own wee garden, well, my own house, when I bought my own house, I mean, I have about an acre of a garden. It's mostly jungle. It's mostly like this here. But since I bought that house, I've planted, I don't know, at least 250 trees in it. Mostly as a hedging, but still. So I would say I've planted about 300 trees so far. So don't be talking to me about carbon fucking footprints. You'll get the footprint of my toe up your fucking. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to show you that. It's lovely, lovely hill that you'd probably drive past all the time. Never give a second thought to. And to show you the lovely views of East Donegal, and maybe plant a wee seed in your head as well. Alright, see you in the pub.